we both sort of worked around the idea of us, I guess, discovering between us what we both thought contemporary jewellery in New Zealand looked like, or what we found interesting in New Zealand contemporary jewellery. And so Carl obviously had an outsider's viewpoint because although living here for a year and having been here a few times, had an idea, and of course my understanding had been developed from 40 years of practice, living very close to it. And so it was negotiated around that inside-outside viewpoint, but also, a sensibility, I think, developed between the two of us around what we thought was good, about New Zealand contemporary jewellery. Yeah, well, the methodology was quite straightforward. In a way, we got in the car.
We got in the car, and I mean, there's the obvious places, like you check the museums, there are galleries, and there are schools, and then there are individual makers. So what we started with, where the most accumulation of jewelry is with the museums, because that gives you first good insight, and so the obvious places, and then go from there.
We did develop a method which we called clumping, where when we found a number of pieces that were starting to fit some sort of description that we provided for it, and sometimes those descriptions were as simple as calling them, bangles, earrings, but sometimes it was about the shape of the piece, sometimes it was about the material, and so a whole lot of different clumps were developed, and names like feather, flat.
Well, also I think you found that word clumping, which comes from biology. It's the pieces gathered together for mutual benefit. Yeah. And I think, it's something that jewelry does anyway. Jewelry is clumping. It needs a host. It's on somebody. It clumps on somebody. It's almost like the jewelry needs that. And we don't have the person in the show. We only have the thing. So in a way, they can talk. They can clump with each other, and so it kind of activates the jewelry, or it's that part that jewelry always needs something else, needs a partner, and so that clump helped that as well, helped the pieces to find a place.
I don't know whether it was Carl's sort of interest in fishing, but we used to use the metaphor of fishing to describe the way we went out looking for work. It was.
We always found it always related well to it, because you fish, you never know what you get. That's the other thing with fishing. And we didn't say when we go to a museum we're gonna go for the most spectacular piece. It was always like let's see what is here. We throw the line out and we'll see what's on it.
At the beginning of the process of making a show for Germany, there was always an expectation that Carl and I would include our work in the exhibition. I had the history of making small gold hooks. It came out of a project of working on a residency in the South Island, and Carl had made these lead works, which he called them sinkers, and then he basically took a sinker and set it with his trademark bead-set stones. We put them together, and we had the piece that we put in the show. The piece that represented the fishing metaphor.
It felt right, and as much as it feels right to now, as the show is together, probably the last showing, that we end up sitting here with that thing and gonna throw it in the water. And
we're just gonna test the metaphor.
Yeah.